Today we are going to show you how to cook a lobster. And this baby is a nice select, about 4-pound lobster. He is just under the measure, and they actually got a little personality to them. Like, when they're this big, you almost don't want to cook them. Poor old bugger. Sometimes they smoke tobacco. This one right here likes to smoke and drink. Drink Southern Comfort. Poor old bugger. Quite a scene. We're gonna have him over for dinner. We're having Mr. Lobster over for dinner. Alright guys, all you need is a pot of water. Not much water at all. About an inch in the bottom of it, a little bit of salt, a lot of salt. Salt water you got it right from the ocean. Biggest thing that I see people doing wrong, it just makes me cringe, is leaving the bands on the lobster. That's pretty much all you gotta remember. That's how you can screw it up. You don't want to screw it up. Take the bands off. Throw your lobster in your pot. Set to boil. Put a top on and steam it. What you're doing is steaming the lobster. So we'll start that process and see how it comes out. On these, when you're cooking these big lobsters, these selects like this, if you can get a 2, 3, 4-pound lobster or whatever, you want to cook it for a little longer than you would normally on the other ones. Just a lot thicker meat, so you want to give it an extra maybe 10 minutes, you know, or whatever compared. But another thing that I've done with the size of my pot is broken the lobster up. Oh, I think he's still touching in there. Poor old bugger. He was a breeder. He was a survivor. We've got some action now. What I like to do is just tilt on something like this, a pot like this, just tilt it off to the side, release some of that steam. I'd say we're about halfway through the process now. But I wanted to mention that lobster's probably right around 15 years old, roughly. About 7 there, about a counter. So, figure he might be 15, 16 years old. Alright guys, we're going to see the finished product here. Steaming right up. Just shut the water off about a minute ago. And what I did was a tall tale way to figure out if your lobster's done all the way is give a little tug on the antenna and it'll yank right off. This one didn't really yank off that easily, and I about had to pry it off with a knife, but yeah, I know this lobster's done. One thing I like to do is cut it up and saute it in butter before I do anything with it. On these bigger lobsters, they seem like they're tougher meat and whatnot, but check out Sis John 2616. He's got a great lobster Alfredo recipe, but that he does. But I like to fry it right out, saute it in butter after I cut it up. Have my stew, then put it in mayonnaise, have lobster rolls, something like that. Or just dip it in butter with a little bit of vinegar. The old-fashioned way, that's just as good as anything. But we'll start tearing into them, but hopefully you learned something today.